the one thing, I guess, that's on everyone's mind is how do you do kind of...
What I do?
What you do. But how do you make a moist gluten-free cake?
Okay, well, there's many different ways. I use almond flour, or any nut flour, makes cakes more moist. Also, weighing your flour, especially when it's gluten-free flour, is very important. And sifting it before you weigh it, because it can get into clumps and whatever. And even just if you're off by 1/8 of a teaspoon or anything, it sometimes will affect the way the cake turns out. There's also baking times, which are kind of important. Like if you go into a recipe and you kind of sub it for gluten-free flour, it will not be the same time as a normal gluten-filled cake or banana bread or whatever. I remember I once had this girl on Instagram write me, she's like, why is my banana bread never good? It's always either too dry or not cooked enough. It's just because you have to be very you're gonna have to watch your cake when it's in the oven and be very, what's that word? Well, anyways, you gotta be mindful, mindful of when it's gonna be ready and whatever. Always have a toothpick on hand. I find it's the oldest trick in the book and it's the best trick in the book.
When you see a recipe, do you stick to the cooking times?
It's I actually started looking 10 minutes before. Also, if you have a convection oven, obviously it cooks faster, and that's just the cooking time is totally different. Like it could be 20 minutes before. But yeah, so basically I start looking 10 minutes before. Is it ready? Is it not? And my first time I try like a recipe, it's always, I'll never know if it's gonna be good or bad. Like I might make it like that was really good, but the first time I overcooked it because I stuck to the time that was like 55 minutes and it ended up being 35 minutes, So it really depends on what kind of oven you have. Also depends on if it's hot that day, if it's cold that day. There's a lot of external factors.
Do you stick to the temperatures that are recommended, the oven temperatures?
I actually always put it 25 degrees less, as I find it slow cooks also and it won't dry out. I don't like xanthan gum. It's actually not good for you and it's not good for your digestive system. So I stick to psyllium husks, which is basically a 1-for-1 exchange, a substitute. And it's very good for you. It has good, good benefits. And xanthan gum is just gross. I think it is. If you use it, totally cool, but and it works. It works just as well as xanthan gum does. The problem is that it's not as well known and it's a lot harder to find in places, but health food store will always have it. And always make sure it's the powder, not the full husks. The full husks are not as good of a binder than the actual powder, like ground up. It's all trial and error. That's what I find about gluten-free baking. It's not as easy as just an all-purpose flour that you just throw in a recipe, throw some eggs, and it's gonna rise. It's not, sometimes your cake isn't gonna rise, and you know what? The next time it will. You just gotta, keep on going because it's not as easy as the regular baking. So always have faith. Always have faith. I don't know why I just said that. Yeah, that's it, I think. What else? I had good press actually, but press does not bring people. I don't understand. I was on TV, I was on Global Morning News, and I didn't get any extra added people, which sucked. Are you taping me, or is this just to see how loud I am? Okay. Okay. It's my show. I want to be I'm not a pro. I never went to school for this. Okay. I went to school for finance.
There you go.
Yeah.